stay here. So I had her on the tether. I've got her on a long tether. You'll notice that I've got her on a harness now as well. She has been walking on a collar round her neck, but I find that a harness gives you more control over your dog, and when you're giving commands and you're tugging her there to get her to sit and stuff, the pressure is on her back just here rather than round her neck, so it helps with getting her to obey you more, I find. So as long as your dog isn't a serious lead puller, a harness is much better for training. So I've just attached the harness to her today, and even though we're out in the countryside, what I'm doing is I'm not giving her any room to walk out in front of me. I'm getting her to walk to heel and to obey, and she's got to learn to not pull at all. She's not a very bad lead puller, but you can feel her trying to pull away from me a little bit, and we're just going to try and stop that today and just keep her to heel. And you know, it's the best way to do it is, even if you're using a tether like this, so you see I've got lots of lead here. I've got about 5 meters of lead, but what I tend to do is I break it down to about half a foot. Yeah, about 12 inches, 6 to 12 inches of lead, and keep your hand flat against your side as if you're just carrying a bag, and never ever allow your arm to go out forwards like this. Okay, you don't want to be walking with your arm out in front of you. When you walk a dog, you want your arm down to your side and the dog to be walking at your pace at your side. And every time she starts to pull forward, just a little tug or a little jerk on the lead to bring her back, and you can make the little hiss noise, or if you haven't got a camera in your hand, you can use a clicker to just grab her attention and stuff. But obviously right at this moment I've got the camera in my hand, so I can't use the clicker. But yeah, you can do certain clicker training and stuff to help her to concentrate more. But right now we're just using the hiss noise, which she understands. You can see her ears are coming back. She's looking at me and she's waiting for the commands. You see now her ears go forward. That means that she's wondering what's going on in front of her. But as again, you see her looking to me and the ears are coming back. So she's understanding that I'm in charge. And we're just going to keep her to heel right now. And we're just going to walk like this for about 20 minutes or so, half an hour. Going to let my dogs run around, and we're going to allow her to see this so that she understands that she has to behave to get this free time. This is really good training for dogs. I do this with all dogs that I walk, because my dogs are always off the lead. They're always off the lead, never ever on a lead. And a lot of other dogs do start to learn straight away that if they behave themselves and do as they're told, then they get that free time as well. But for now, she's being a little bit dominant. She's trying to pull forward, and I can't blame her. There's a lot to smell out here. There's a lot of different scents for her. Probably doesn't get to do walks like this very often, so she's probably quite excited. My dogs are running past her all the time, so there's a lot for her to want to pull off and get excited about, but we're just going to control her excitement and keep her in a good state of mind, keep her balanced, and we're not going to allow her to dominate me on the lead. And this is basic training, very basic training. You get this right and everything else afterwards becomes easier, but you have to get the basics first. And I find that most dog owners do not understand the basics of dog training, so it's always good to start afresh with all dogs. I find, even if they do understand certain commands, just go back to basics and learn the very basics again, and make sure that it's drummed into the dog before you move ahead with other stuff. But as you can see, she's starting to calm down. What you're looking for is to be able to walk with her to heel on a loose lead. What you don't want is the lead stretched out like this. See how it's quite taut and tight? This is not good. This is her dominating you. Okay? What you want is for the lead to be loose like this. Hey, to be loose like this. Okay? So that you could walk with the lead just in your hand, flat in your hand, and not have to grip it. If you're having to grip the lead, then you've got problems. Okay, so every time she starts pulling, you just bring her back, and if it keeps happening, you just stop, sit her down, sit, and just wait. Good girl. And just let her calm down and relax again. It's a very slow process, I know, I can understand that, it's very slow, but it's the only way that they learn. Sit. Good girl. Good girl. Always offer the affection for something she's doing right. Never ever tell the dog off, I find. A lot of people like to use negative reinforcement with their dogs by telling them off for doing something wrong. I don't think this works. I've never ever trained a dog using negative reinforcement. It does not work. It just makes the dog fearful of you. So even if the dog doesn't listen to you 5 times, if she listens to you on the 6th time, you praise her for that. Okay, so never ever tell your dog off. So she's started to calm down now. I can feel her energies have dropped, so we're going to move on again, and we're just going to try and keep her on a very loose lead. She's still pulling a little bit, but nothing too major. I think in a couple of walks we could get her to calm this down and to actually listen to the heel. She's not a bad puller. I've had a lot worse, and one of the dogs that I've trained, Zeus, he used to pull really badly on the lead, and within about 2 or 3 weeks I've been able to curb that problem now. But it's all to do with the tools that you use. Like some people just put a dog collar on them, put a lead on and just go, and they don't think that changing it or using something different will make any difference to them at all, but it does. It really does. Hey, hey. So again, you can see she's pulling off to do what she wants, and she's not listening. So again, we're not going to allow her to do this. This is her trying to dictate to you what she wants to do. Okay, and you should never ever allow that, especially when you're training. Never allow the dog to just wander off to go for a pee. Okay, you want to let her sniff when you say. Okay, so always keep your dog under control. Never ever let the dog dictate to you where it's going to go. So already she started to calm down. The lead's nice and loose. Stay here. Stay here. So yeah, it's already starting to make a difference. She's calming down a bit. Still pulling a little bit, but just going to keep stopping her over and over again. Even if it takes 5 hours, even if it takes 5 days, we're just going to keep doing this until she learns. And we're not going to allow her to have too much time like on the tether or off the lead. Until she learns this move. This is a really important move. Behave. So now you can see she started to calm down again. The lead's nice and loose. Hey, hey. But every couple of steps she gets a little bit too excited and she's trying to dominate again. This is because she's probably she's been allowed to do this for so long that and her owners have probably never ever corrected it. They've just probably allowed the dog to just pull them up and down the road, and this is why she's doing this. But again, just do not allow it. Do not allow it. Relax. Sit. Good girl. Good girl. Kaiser, Chase, here. Kaiser! Sit! Kaiser, come here. So we're just going to grab the pack together. Sit down. Get her to realise that it's not just her that's having to sit. Good girl. Good girl. You calm. Relax. Again, take this time to take a deep breath. Let all your emotions and anxieties sort of dissipate before you move on again. And if she starts pulling when you move, just stop again. Just keep jerking the lead to calm her down. If it doesn't work, just stop again. Just sit her down and make her wait. It's the only way they'll learn. Okay, here. Stay here. Chase. Kaiser, stay here. Hey. Hey, come here. Right, so I'm just going to shorten the lead a little bit more to keep her very close. I just wanted to do that, give her a little bit extra there so I could catch it on camera. The pulling. Hey, enough. So she's still trying it, but we've only been out about 2 hours now, so it does take time, and it's not something that's going to be fixed within a couple of minutes. This sort of work can take weeks, especially with older dogs. If they've got away with it, especially if they're like over 3 or 4, because a dog ends its puppy years when it turns 3. So once it gets over that initial puppy stage, training becomes a lot harder. It's not impossible, but it does become harder because they get set into a routine where they've gotten away with stuff for so long that they just take advantage of the owners. But I find it a lot easier to train adult dogs than puppies, because adult dogs understand that they need to behave, whereas puppies, they've still got that playfulness inside them, so it does take a lot longer, I find. But Chase, he's 16 months, 17 months. I've had him since he was like 7 months, and his previous owners never ever let him off the lead, never. And within 3 weeks of me having him, he was walking off the lead up and down the roads. So it just takes a little while, but it's just persistence. You need to be very persistent and have a lot of patience when it comes to dog training. But again, we're just going to keep doing this, and I'll get some more footage as and when I can. Wait, sit, sit, good girl, stay there, good girl, good girls.